Welcome to the semifinals here of the SCG Tour in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cedric Phillips, Craig Krempels, about to watch Bobby Fortanely, our number 2 overall seed, against Brian Braun-Duin with Blue-Red Twin. For Brian, number 7 on our Season 1 leaderboard. For Bobby, the unknown here, but he has one hell of a deck in his hands.
It's been a real pleasure watching what this deck can do this weekend.
It's silly. It's absolutely silly at times. And for Brian, he's on the draw in the matchup. I do think that it is typically a good matchup for Twin, but being on the draw is tough because there are some games where you just can't interact with them appropriately.
Yep, they just do what they do too fast.
Yes. So we're going to see if Brian is able to combat this or if Fortanely is able to destroy him, as we have seen Amulet Bloom do a few times here this weekend.
And we see Bobby plugging the struggling startup Facebook there with his t-shirt.
It is really, it's difficult for them right now.
Yeah.
Barely hanging on, but just enough money to make a few shirts,
yeah,
it appears, for some very useful advertising. Looks like Fortanely's going to keep. We'll see if Brian wants to keep his opening hand. Players are given the green light, and we are underway here in the semifinals. A Teleria West is where Fortanely is going to start. For Brian, it's a Misty Rainforest.
Yeah, and that Teleria West is not going to stay on the board for very long.
Yeah, at some stage, that'll probably be picked up and transmuted. Just how this deck goes about operating. Fortanely does have a copy of Summer Bloom in hand. The question, of course, is just how unfair is his hand.
Yep.
There's a Gruul Turf. And, wow, a very fair start here for Fortanely.
And it looks like he has a Souza in his hand that he wants to use to power out some cards, which might actually be good for Brian. It gives him targets for Lightning Bolt, for Electrolyze. You know, if he's able to counter it, gives him a lot of time. And this is about as fair of a start that we've seen out of Amulet Bloom so far this tournament.
So far. Here's the Serum Visions. Sulphur Falls is the draw. We'll see what Brian wants to do with the scry here. Those 2 cards going to go to the bottom. Sulphur Falls done resolving. Excuse me, Serum Vision's done resolving. Sulphur Falls the land for the turn. Summoners pack the draw here for Bobby.
And we'll see if Bobby's able to get onto the board here, so to speak.
He's got to do something. This is, I would consider this getting onto the board.
Yeah.
There's a spell snare to stop him from getting onto the
Brian
board.
has the perfect answer.
Yep. So Bloom is countered. Teleria West is the land for the turn.
Now, if Brian has a 3rd land and a creature to tap the Gruul Turf on Bobby's upkeep, he's going to be in a very good position here.
Absolutely.
And even if he doesn't have that, we're getting later in the game where he's able to cast his remands. Next turn, he'll be able to cast Cryptic Command, and Bobby's no longer dangerous to just do things underneath of Brian's counterspells.
Well, there's the Seaver Exarch to lock down that Gruul Turf. And Fortanely's start is just very slow.
Yeah, he really needed that Summer Bloom to resolve.
Looks like his hand is just a lot of setup, but no really explosiveness here.
Well, this is the deck operating without an Amulet in play.
Yeah. There's the Serum Visions. And now we'll see what the scry will yield here for Fortanely.
Yeah, he really has to plan out the game at this point. He has to hope that Brian just doesn't have the combo next turn, and then decide how best to move forward from there. There's no point in worrying about if your opponent has it if you're losing to it anyway.
Scry is done there with the Serum Visions. Now there's Golgari Rot Farm. Teleria West back to the grip. And now we head it back over to BBD. Brian will draw. Is it land plus Splinter Twin? That's the question. Looks like the answer is no.
Doesn't look like it.
There are Serum Visions for him. He'll draw a card. Now it's time for him to scry too. Brian has been dominant this weekend. We'll see if he can keep that going. Really, the most dominant players in our tournament, Alion Trosner, 1 overall seed, Brian Braun-Duin, who's number 3, and Jeff Hoagland, who's number 8 right now. They have all looked very impressive every time we've watched them.
Yeah, they always seem to have a game plan. They're always working towards something.
Yep. Now Brian going to think about this scry here quite a bit.
Yeah, Brian's deep in the tank on this scry. He's probably wondering, does he have to put these cards on the bottom and just dig for the twin as soon as possible? Or are these cards good enough, even though they aren't Splinter Twins, to leave on top and buy more time that way?
So land 4 is a Desolate Lighthouse. Here comes the Seaver Exarch for 1. Fortanely going to fall down to 19.
And I would think even with a couple of counter spells in Brian's hand, he would still feel like he's pressured to find that Splinter Twin as soon as possible.
Another Exarch. See what land he wants to tap here.
This is a Vendilion Click.
Oh, pardon me. I apologize. Well, going to show the grip. This is, of course, in the draw step. Sleight of hand. Summoner's Pact, Azusa Lost but Seeking, Ancient Stirrings. Teleria West we've known about for some time. Primeval Titan. Selesnya Sanctuary and a Slayer Stronghold. Weird hand.
It is a strange hand. It's going to be interesting. Azusa really helps Bobby accelerate here. But without the amulet, it's not nearly as explosive. So we'll see if Brian is worried about that Azusa.
Yeah, Brian writing down the contents right now of Fortanelli's hand. So taking Titan doesn't do much because there's a Summoner's Pact in hand.
Yeah, that's a redundant, very similar card. Some of this depends on if Brian has a bunch of counterspells in his hand.
It almost feels like Stirring gives Bobby the best shot at finding something broken to do, because Sleight of Hand can't be cast this turn.
Yep.
And then Azusa, as you mentioned, is good. I'm not sure if it's great, but it's definitely good. And it looks like Brian is going to go with the Stirrings. So Fortanelli is going to get to draw a mystery card here. Amulet of Vigor. No. Well, look what I drew.
Yeah.
Probably going to cast that this turn.
Hey, man, thanks for this card.
Absolutely, I needed it. Now, it's time to make sure you play your spells right.
All right, senior players, after 8 rounds of this, I have your cuts.
Here comes Azusa.
This was not a land.
Has not played a land yet, so he's going to get 3 land drops this turn. Azusa provides 2. Normal land drop provides 1. So we could just see Selesnya Sanctuary 3 times.
In third place at 20 points, Mike McClure.
Yep,
Yeah, that's what we're going to see.
In fourth place,
Prime time coming down.
I think so. One of the issues, however, is that the Slayer Sanctum is actually Slayer Stronghold, excuse me, is actually in hand for Fortanelli. So he doesn't get to go, I guess I would say, completely nuts this turn.
Sure.
in seventh place at 19 points, Chris Lamaster. And in eighth place at
But the Titan is here nonetheless. Looks like Simic Growth Chamber plus Teleria West, which is always a very popular combination.
Kyle Cappy.
And that Teleria West potentially represents an answer for anything that Brian might do. He can transmute it. He can go get the Pact of Negation.
And it looks like there will be a transmute here. He might be thinking Slaughter Pact.
Or Slaughter Pact.
Yeah, that's also pretty good.
Well, he can't pay the double blue for the Pact of Negation right now.
Slaughter Pact is pretty helpful, though.
It's very neat that there's a deck that plays 3 different packs.
And can pay for them all?
Yep.
Yeah. Brian will draw.
And I think Brian is a little chagrined here at the turn of events this game.
Well, things have changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Look, you've been dealing click me. It's not my fault. Here comes the dealing click in the air. Bobby's going to fall down to 16. Sulfur falls, pass the turn back. Fortanely doing a pack check, as he should.
Sure.
Yeah.
A little look in his eyes. Am I safe?
Yeah. Don't want to miss that one.
Is it clear to draw a card?
No. Boros Garrison was the draw.
And he still has a Souza on the board.
Yep. So now, if you're Bobby, you're curious about what's going on in Brian's hand. He played his 5th land, set to go. This can mean a lot of different things, of course.
Sure. If Bobby tries to get another Titan on the board here. All right, he's going to start by just attacking.
Yeah, I think this is a reasonable place to start. You know, he does have Boros Garrison and Slayer Stronghold in hand, so he could have played both of those as land drops and then maybe gotten a little fancy there. But
this is the safest thing.
I think so.
If he's worried about Cryptic Command, he doesn't want to get a spell countered and his Primeval Titan tapped.
Mm-hmm. Now he's got to figure out what he wants to search up.
And he probably feels like he's getting so much value out of one attack with Primeval Titan, and he's got the backup already in his hand in the form of the Pact, that he doesn't need to get greedy.
Simic Growth Chamber, Gemstone Mine. Trigger from the Simic Growth Chamber is going to return the Gemstone Mine. So now what comes next? At least 6 damage dealt.
Yeah,
So Brian down to 13.
Yep, he's going to make some land drops.
2 land drops to go. 3 mining counters on the Gemstone Mine, of course. Slayer Stronghold. Transmute. Green mana floating. Pact Negation for protection.
Yep, and just more insurance.
Now Pact Negation and Slaughter Pact in hand.
And I believe a Summoner's Pact as well.
Yep. All 3.
The holy trifecta.
Just need the Pact of the Titan maybe to speed up the clock.
Get that 4/4 out there?
Yeah, I could use that. Surprise 4/4.
Kaboom.
Yeah. Here's a sleight of hand. Summer Bloom and Ancient Stirrings of cards here for Fortanely. I think we're past the Summer Bloom stage of this game.
Certainly.
Going to consult the hand before making a decision. And it looks like he's actually going to go with some room. A little surprise there. Gruul Turf, Boros Garrison. This is going to be his final land. Looks like a little bit of colorless mana floating. And now pass the turn back over to Brian, who's going to activate Desolate Lighthouse. His end of turn action is a little less impressive.
Not as much going on there.
Yeah. Brian will draw. Steam Vents. Looks like a lot of lands in hand. There's an island. Pass the turn back.
Yep, not even attacking. Yeah, he knows between the Boros Garrison and the Slayer Stronghold. You know, very good chance he's just dead here.
Quick update for you in our backup match. Jeff Hoagland going to win game number 1 here over Todd Stevens. Kiki Cord up a game over Nia Company. Looks like a Summoner's pack for a Primeval Titan here for Bobby.
Pac-1 got the Titan.
Yep. There's the Slayer Stronghold. Boros Garrison going to be on the way here in just a moment, it appears. Going to start first, it looks like, with Primeval Titan, however.
Deciding what he wants to tap here.
Yeah.
He's way ahead. He's just being very careful. No silly mistakes.
It's possible to lose this game still, you know, a little bit. It seems like it's going to be pretty tough. Lighthouse activation from Brian. He'll discard a Misty Rainforest. There's a trigger.
Yeah, I think Bobby, with the double packs in his hand and his board presence, somewhere over 95% to win this game.
Certainly high. Tolaria West.
A little transmute action.
Yep. Another pack negation.
Not losing this one.
Yeah, and Brian shows 4 lands. He says, all right, you win. Bobby Fortanelli's going to win game number 1 here over Brian Braun-Duin. Amulet Bloom up a game here over Blue-Red Twin. Even though it wasn't a great start there for Bobby, the Vendilion Click in a weird way assisted him quite a bit.
It was perfect.
Yeah. Found an Amulet.
Well, if he had to cast Ancient Stirrings to get the Amulet, he wouldn't have been able to play the Amulet and the Isuza in the same turn.
Yep.
And then he wouldn't have been able to get the Primeval Titan down so soon.
Yeah, and be able to go absolutely nuts from there, which is what this deck does do on occasion, as I'm sure Brian does know. So we take a look at the sideboards here from both players, get an idea of what they're working with for their 15, and we will start here with Brian and his 3 Jace, Architect of Thought, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Roast, 2 Vandal Blast, 2 Rending Volley, a Keranos God of Storms, and his Static Caster, an Anger of the Gods, and a Negate.
All right, we're going to see the Blood Moons come in for sure.
Oh, are we? Are we?
I would expect the Vandal Blast to come in and the Negate.
Yeah, the Blood Moons are, it's the end boss.
Yep.
Against this deck. It's very, very hard for Amulet Bloom to beat. As you can see, all their lands are basically non-basic. Vandal Blast I can see coming in. I think it is necessary to have some sort of artifact removal against Amulet.
And I feel like Brian has enough tier 2 cards in his deck, his main deck, that aren't real good in this matchup that he'll want to take out.
Potentially Negate comes in?
Yeah.
Stuff like that?
I would think the Negate would be in the deck.
Other side of things here for Fortanelli, 3 Leyline of Sanctity, 2 Pyroclasm, 3 Seal of Primordium, 2 Swan Song, a Slaughter Pact to Bojuka Bog, a Ghost Quarter, Engineer Explosives, and a Hornet Queen.
So he's going to be bringing in the Seal of Primordium just to try to counteract the Blood Moons. I would expect the Swan Songs to come in as well, along with the Slaughter Pact.
Seals, do you want to bring in all 3?
Yeah, I think it's just the Blood Moon is too dangerous.
Okay.
You can't beat it once it comes down. You can beat it. It's exceedingly hard to beat it once it comes down. So you're going to want those seals.
You know, if you had Pact of the Titan, you could probably beat it. Easily pay.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little sideboard help there for you.
You are really on board with this.
If you ever...
Red Pact?
I am. Big Red Pact fan. Great limited card. Great. Always took people by surprise. Well, you see the options there available for both players. Great strong, by the way. You see the options available there for both players. And we will see Brian Braun-Duin sideboard and go first here. But in the meantime, we will discuss our fall creature collection here at Star City Games, where you can find some of our game night favorites we've got on playmat sleeves and player bundles. We have the otter, the hippo, the reindeer, and at least one happy penguin.
At least one. The others are all business.
Well, one is actively upset, I think, on the right. Or excuse me, on the left. On the right, the other one scheming.
I think they just know it's time to get in there. Mix it up a little bit.
Give your opponent an Amulet of Vigor.
Let's lose this game.
Yeah, it's StarCityGames.com/creature collection for more information. We will have a winter 2016 collection for you guys soon enough, as we do get ready for game number 2. For Brian Braun-Duin, down a game right now, but it's been a dominant run for him recently. Did finally get his first win on the SCG Tour when we were in Las Vegas to kick off the season. So it's been a great start for him for 2016. 4 Invitational top 8s with 13 Open Series top 8s, a victory, of course. 4 Grand Prix top 8s with 2 wins as well. And I'd say he's new-ish to Magic, but new
Compared to a lot of people.
Yeah, compared to a lot of people,
Yeah.
I think is the best way to put it. Actually, we got to update this graphic because this is top 8 number 14 for Brian.
He's doing all right for himself.
He's doing just fine. So we're going to see if he can come back here. He's going to be on the play, which I think plays a big role in things, and we'll see if Blood Moon can work its way into the equation.
Yeah, I mean, his start last game, he had the Spell Snare for the Summer Bloom. Seemed very important. He was able to tap a land on turn 3. Seemed very important. Still didn't matter.
Some people tweeting, wondering why this deck is even legal still in Amulet Bloom. I don't know.
Well, when we've seen it, it's run very smooth, very consistent.
Yep.
But like you said, when the Aven Mind Scissor came down,
It was a touch embarrassing.
it was barely a deck.
Yeah. Which I do find to be quite funny. A
So-
deck that's this popular and then Aven Mind Sensor, that I can't win.
Sure. So I guess Wizards' thought is that the deck hasn't made enough of an impact to prove whether or not it can be controlled through the right amount of hate.
Okay. Okay.
Once more people start bringing this deck, other people have to start having sideboards for the deck, and then you see where it's actually at.
Yeah. This deck has consistently folded to Blood Moon, just can't beat it.
Yep.
We know that. Or at least it has a lot of trouble with
Yep.
it. Let's put it that way. I don't want to speak in absolutes here. And, you know, we watched Aven Mind Sensor basically tear the deck apart. It came down in the third turn of the game and just couldn't do anything. So, you know, when it looks good, it looks very good. I think when it looks bad, it looks pretty bad. So what do you do about something like that? I'm not entirely sure. Unfortunately, it's not my decision to make.
And I would not be surprised to see Wizards ban a card.
Which one do you think it would be?
I think Bloom is the biggest problem.
Okay.
Not Bloom. It's either the Summer Bloom or the Amulet of Vigor.
Okay.
The question, do they want to keep a deck like this around on the radar?
I don't know.
Because they can just take it off the map altogether by getting rid of the Amulet of Vigor, right?
Yeah, I think if this deck loses Amulet, it's just done.
Yeah.
I assume if it lost Summer Moon, it would be done, but I think we just watched a game where Summer Moon didn't resolve and it was fine. It's just nowhere near as explosive then.
Correct.
So I think if you remove Amulet from the deck, it's not the deck isn't what it is, and it probably changes some things. But again, that mana restricted announcement is coming up pretty soon, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some things change. This deck when it wins it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure how resilient it is. It feels like it's resilient through some things and not resilient through other. Like it seems like it's resilient through counter magic, but not resilient through a card like Blood Moon, which could show up here for Brian. Either way, we'll find out soon enough as this game will begin in just a moment between Bobby Fortanely and Brian Braun-Duin.
Yeah, our sample size is pretty small here, but it has looked very impressive.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, our backup match, Jeff Hoagland, Todd Stevens. Jeff Hoagland on Geeky Cord, Todd Stevens on Naya Company. Jeff currently up a game. I'm looking to make you 5 for 5 in your predictions, by the way.
So now you're back on board.
No, I'm just letting you know where you would stand.
Okay, yeah, that one's not done yet.
Yeah, first of all, I've never been on board,
Okay,
so it'd be difficult to get back on board.
sure.
But if we're keeping track of your predictions here in our elimination rounds, you are currently 4 for 4. And you had Bobby Fortanely winning this match against Brian, and you had Jeff winning the match against Todd. They're both up a game.
Each up a game, yep.
Now, I don't know if you know. Do you know what happens if you go 7 for 7 throughout the elimination rounds?
I would expect basically nothing.
Correct. The answer is nothing.
All right.
You don't get anything.
Do I get something for getting that question right?
No, you don't get
Still
anything. for that.
nothing.
Still nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm just glad that we're on the same page.
Okay. We understand each other
Yes. Sarah Visions here for Brian is where he'll start. Scry 2 is what he's going to do. It looks like both players would keep 7 cards.
Oh, and he keeps 2 cards.
Just the luckiest guy. He is the luckiest guy.
Click that card to the bottom. Give you the perfect one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Fortanelli's going to start with an island and an amulet.
And there are times when this Bloom deck doesn't want to deploy an amulet on the first turn because it's vulnerable when it's on the field.
Yeah.
You know, if he expects Vandal Blast to come in.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because there's a trade-off. There are times when you want to play it, and there are times you don't. If you don't play it early, You open yourself to counter magic.
Counter spells.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you, or in a different circumstance, you're playing against a certain deck like Jund. If you don't play it early, you lose a discard spell. If you do play it, Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
Something like that. So at times it almost feels like you're guessing. As here's another amulet.
But Bobby has everything he could want.
It feels that way right now. Simic Growth Chamber.
1 for the first turn, 1 for the second turn.
So 2 blue, 2 green. He doesn't need to be clicked into this one. Just has it.
Just has it.
Yeah. All right, he's going to pick this up. Is it time to cast Summer Bloom? Yep. Not great to remand right now. Just, yeah. Just going to put that out there. Also not particularly good to Spell Pierce right now. Bobby does have the ability to make a bunch of land drops, and he has a copy of Summoner's Pact in his hand, so if he's feeling it...
Yeah, we might see a Titan this turn.
Yeah, if he's feeling... Now, the flip side of this is if Brian has Remand on the Primeval Titan, 4, 8... Oh, no, never mind.
He still has 3 land drops he can make with the Summer Bloom. That's the reason he's casting the pact first.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure he gets the right lands out there afterwards to pay for the pact later.
Yeah, it's really cool because each Simic Growth Chamber makes 4 mana. So that's great. 4, 8, 12, which means if you're Man's Titan, you can just recast it. Yep. Yeesh. So Brian would need a Flash Freeze that he does not have. Perhaps Essence Scatter.
Yeah, remove soul.
Yeah, that would also work.
Memory lapse.
That would be a doozy. We're going real old school now, aren't we? That Simic Growth Chamber is land number 1. I got to return that. Here's a Primeval Titan. There's Remand. Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that resolved. Yes.
Bobby's just kind of laughing at that one.
Yeah. You get to draw a card. Bobby does have 2 more land drops to make, however.
This is pretty ridiculous that, we're working on turn 2 here.
Yeah.
He cast a 6-drop. It was remanded. He's going to recast that 6-drop.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to recast it.
Yeah.
He has the ability to. I hope he realizes he has the ability to. Let's say that.
I'm willing to bet he's better at navigating this deck than I am. Yep.
If he's in the top 4, I would think that's correct.
Yeah.
But the body language here is a little concerning to me.
Yeah, I wonder what the thought process is here.
Because you have to remember, this deck is very complicated.
Sure. Well, I'm wondering if he's trying to figure out how to win this turn.
Well, I don't know if he can win this turn, but I don't know if he needs to win this turn.
I don't think he does, but I think he's going through the math to see if he can.
Okay.
Because the Slayer Stronghold is in his hand, so that would have to be one of his land drops from the Summer Bloom.
Oh, if he has a Slayer Stronghold in his hand, it does change things a little bit.
It's Sunhome.
If it's Sunhome, then he's okay.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sunhome's in his hand.
All right, so he's played Bojuka Bog, taking care of the graveyard. Simic Growth Chamber twice. Pick up the Bojuka Bog. And now there's a Titan. Okay. He's all right. Just kind of the body language there was a little concerning.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he didn't realize that he would be able to get to keep going here and have a bunch of fun.
I think he knew. I think he was just doing the math to see if he could get to 20 this turn.
Got it. He's in search of the Boros Garrison and the Slayer Stronghold. He's found them. So those will enter the battlefield, trigger some amulet. Do this at least once. So now Titan's an 8/6.
And as soon as that Titan attacks, he's going to go back to searching his deck, so he's not even going to bother having Brian shuffle it.
Yeah. Now the other thing that we have to make sure if you're Fortanely. Gotta have double green out there before the turn's over.
Yep, we got to pay for that pact.
Gotta pay for that pact next turn. So, here's an attack with the Titan.
Which, if BBD windmill slams
Blood Moon.
Blood Moon,
Yep.
he will be able to steal this one, depending on Bobby's hand.
Yep. Bobby is considering Temple of Mystery here, also Simic Growth Chamber, also Basic Forest. So, Basic Forest, Temple of Mystery. He'll get a Scry from Temple of Mystery here. Everything looks okay here for Fortanely. Playing pretty smart. I think he's trying to play around everything that he can. Might be a little nervous playing against Brian here.
Sure.
Making a deep run in this tournament. His first top 8 on the SCG Tour. There's a Scry from the Temple of Mystery. Now he's free to pump the Titan again, so this will be an attack for 10 total.
A little bit of damage.
A smidge. A scotch, as they say.
And I wonder if he should have gotten a Simic Growth Chamber
Okay.
and the Teleria West.
Okay.
And would he have had 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7? No. I was wondering if he should have searched up a Pact of Negation there as a safety net. But he wouldn't have had enough if he had the Pact of Negation to pay for the Pact.
Pay for blue pact and green pact?
Yes.
Yeah. Brian going to search up Steam Vents here.
But a very impressive turn.
Not bad.
Remand your Primeval Titan, no problem.
Yeah.
Turn 2, play it twice.
Shut up with remand, huh? Classic mistake. Just an egregious error by Brian. Upkeep. A pact trigger. There we are.
Remember to pay.
Smart. Here's Pestermite. Primeval Titan, tapped. Fortanely drawing. Gemstone Mine.
Yeah, it looks like Fortanely doesn't have any more action here.
Yeah, the rest of the hand is actually quite bad. He's got the Sunholm, an island, a Bajuka Bog, a Gemstone Mine, a Radiant Fountain. He's going to play an island. Pass a turn back. We're going to go Brian's way. We could have something as simple as Splinter Twin here now from Brian. And if he does have that plus a red source, the game would end.
Yep, the door is open.
Braun-Duin at 7 currently.
He could also have another one of the creatures to tap down the Primeval Titan. Try to buy another turn that way.
Pestermite going to come across for 2. Fortanely going to fall down to 18. And Brian with the Vandal Blast. Take care of one of the amulets.
Little late.
Oh, really? There's a Deceiver Exarch.
All right.
Tap down Primeval Titan. Draw a card. Cavern Souls. There's Bajuka Bog. Take care of the graveyard. Pass a turn back. And Brian can still win this one. He'll take a draw step.
Yep, Brian getting some redraws.
Picked up a copy of Negate. It's got to be real good right now, though.
Yep. He's already a 7. That Titan's only getting bigger.
I suppose Deceiver XR can soak up a little bit of damage, but again, Fortanely does have that Sunholm in hand.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough against the double striking 8 power Titan.
Validated to claim at another event in season 1. Please make your way up to the stage and do so now.
Don't have a great look at Brian's hand at this stage outside of the Negate. Looks like maybe a Snapcaster Mage, man.
Looked like a Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah. Now a little bit of math here from Brian, trying to figure out how he can get out of this situation because it is getting pretty hairy.
And that Bazooka Bog did a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the graveyard.
Yeah. Now all you can do is pass the turn back. Fortanely asking him if there are any upkeep effects.
Do you have another one?
Looks like the answer is no right now. Summoners pack the draw.
And we're kind of in a similar situation to the other game where if that Titan gets to attack, the game's just over.
Yeah. And if the other Titan gets to attack, the game is just over. So here's Summoner's Pact. And while Brian contemplates if he should negate this or not, let you know that Jeff Hoagland did win his match over Todd Stevens 2-0. So for Jeff and his Kiki Cord deck, he's on to the finals. This trip was certainly well worth it. And his modern win percentage continues to rise here on the SCG Tour.
Yeah, I think Bobby's telling Brian there. I didn't actually shuffle my deck.
Yep.
If this Primeval Titan resolves, which it will because of the Cavern, I'm going to be searching for some more cards.
Yeah, Cavern naming Giant here. So now Fortanely can go nuts, as if he wasn't already. He will search now.
And Brian needs Cryptic Command just to buy another turn here.
It looks like he's going to go with Simic Grill Chamber plus Teleria West.
Yep. And he's going to be able to transmute that Teleria West.
Go get himself a
Pact of Negation.
Pact Negation, yep.
So now is Brian's opportunity. Doesn't have it. This is a wrap.
Yep. That's the ultimate safety net. Boros Garrison going to give the new Titan haste in combination with Slayer Stronghold. And Bobby Fortanely would like to do some attacking if you don't mind. So here they come. There are some triggers. And that is going to do it. Bobby Fortanely is going to win this match over Brian Braun-Duin 2-0. Amulet Bloom does it again. It's on its way to the finals to meet up with Kiki Cord.
Well navigated.